Well, happy Tuesday and welcome to VA Careers Live. My name is Mike Owens and I'm a national recruiter for the Veterans Health Administration, as well as your host for our weekly segment, Talk About It Tuesday. If you're tuning in for the first time, I just want to say welcome and let you know that we are here every Tuesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. So feel free to grab a snack, grab something to drink, and join us as we talk about careers here at VA. Now, whether you're tuning in for the first time or you've been with us for the whole 3 years, first of all, I want to say thank you again for tuning in. We appreciate you're watching us every Tuesday. But we want you to be part of the conversation. So feel free to leave any questions and comments in our comment section below. As always, our team and I will go through those comments and questions throughout the day and throughout the week to make sure that all comments are addressed and all questions are answered. And also, if you have a question, it may be featured on our Talk About It Tuesday segment towards the end of this broadcast. One thing that I like, and one thing that me and my team members who also appear on here periodically, we like to go ahead and feature some questions live. So again, feed those questions below, and guess what? Yours may be picked for one of us to answer live. Also, we all know someone who wants to work here at VA, including me. You know, we all know someone who wants a job here at VA. So we ask that you please share our broadcast. Please hit that share button. We have two hashtags that are associated with this broadcast. That's first hashtag work at VA. Again, hashtag work at VA. And then you can use the second hashtag, which is hashtag VA careers. Again, hashtag VA careers. And hit that share button and let's get this information out to as many people as possible. So, today's broadcast, today we're going to be talking about references. I know that a lot of times we talk about the resume as a whole, how you have to tailor your resume, make sure everything's correct, make sure your punctuation is good, making sure that your subjects and verbs agree, all that type of stuff that we talk about. But one part of the resume and the application process that I want to talk about today are our references. All right. And references, believe it or not, is probably one of the most overlooked items on our resume. Not because we don't put effort into it, but because some of us may have references on our resumes that we've had on our resume for the last 10, 15 years, depending on how much work experience you have. So let's say you started building your current resume about 15 years ago and you've changed it over the years. You made sure that you tailored it to each of your jobs and you just kind of added on as you got a new position or got some more work experience, but you kind of forgot about the reference section. So your references, the 3 to 5 references that you have on your resume, those references may be 15 years old, and so much stuff could have changed within those 15 years. Maybe their numbers have changed. Maybe you and that person don't have a good relationship anymore. Just a lot of stuff that can happen over the years with references. So whenever you're applying for a position here at VA, or whenever you're just looking over your resume, just looking for things to change and just looking over it to make sure everything's accurate, make sure you go to the reference section and make sure that those references that you have are current. Make sure that their contact information is current. Just make sure that you have some reliable people in that section that, if called upon from a hiring manager of a position that you're looking to fill, that they can do good things on your behalf. So while we're talking about references, so some people may say, why are references important? Why is that so important? Do people even contact references? Or why would I put somebody on my resume? Because anyone who's gotten a job here at VA, and you can talk to anyone who works at VA, anyone that used to work at VA, or anyone that's ever been involved in the selection process here at the Department of Veterans Affairs. You know that one of the last parts of the hiring process is a hiring manager or an HR specialist contacting your references. So I would even go as far as saying 95% of the time that someone's about to get selected for a position here at VA, their references will be contacted. I know even when I first started working here at VA, my references were contacted. Even when I got a second position, even when I switched positions, I was already a VA employee, but I switched to another position. My references were still contacted. I've had people put me as a reference, and I've had a VA official reach out to me on behalf of someone else that they were thinking about hiring. So if you are planning to work here at the Department of Veterans Affairs, or you are a current employee and you're thinking about moving around soon or applying for a different position here at VA, please make sure that your reference section is updated. Make sure that you have reliable personnel in your reference section, because they're going to get contacted and you want to make sure that that's not a reason why you don't get selected for that position. So what do references do? So references, they substantiate your work experience. So there's two type of references. You have your professional references and you have your personal references. So regarding your professional references, what happens is um, you the hiring manager calls your professional reference. That person can be your current boss, it can be a current coworker, it could be one of your former managers or a former coworker, but someone that has been around you in the work environment. So what happens is when a hiring manager calls in your professional references, they first of all want to substantiate and make sure that the work experience is accurate from your resume. So let's say you said in this job, in this current job that you have, or a job that you had in the past, you said you did A, B, C, and D. So what the hiring manager wants to know from that professional references is did you really do A, B, C, and D, and how well did you do A, B, C, and D? So again, it's just basically to verify your work experience. But what it also does is that it vouches, professional references vouch for your credibility. So, and they get, again, there's things that a hiring manager can learn from a reference that they cannot get from your resume, from your cover letter, or even your interview. Because in your cover letter, in your resume, or your interview, it's you talking about yourself. But your references, now you have a third party talking about you and how you did on the job, how you operated on the job, what's your personality like, are you a team player, you know, all the different things that the hiring manager, that the current hiring manager may be looking for and trying to verify. That that reference can help kind of quell some of the concerns that the hiring manager has. All right. So again, please make sure you find 3 good professional references. 3, I say 3. It could be preferably one should be either your current boss or someone who supervised you in the past, and then your other 2 can be former coworkers, current coworkers, but someone who has seen you and been in an environment with you at a job site. All right. So as far as your personal references, now, again, I would always say some people would say have 3 professional, 3 personal. That's really up to you. I think on my resume, I may have 3 professional references and 2 personal references. So I have five people total on my reference section, but I think I have 3 professional and 2 personal. So what can a personal reference do? So a personal reference is someone that has known you outside of the work environment. It could be a family member or it can be a friend. I would recommend not using family members. I would recommend using friends if you have any best friends or long-term friends, or even better yet, a friend that has worked with you on a particular job. You know, that's even better. But I would recommend a friend over a family member. I think with hiring managers, when they're talking to a friend versus a family member, I think they feel that the friends are more credible, not because family members aren't credible, but you know, sometimes if your reference is your mom, you know, mom's always going to have the best thing to say about their child. You know, dad, same thing. Dad's always going to say the best thing about their child. But I think in this role, I would rather see someone put a friend as a reference, and especially if it's a long-term friend, because even though they can't talk about your professional work experience, they can talk about your personality. They can talk about your character. They can talk about your habits, especially if it's somebody that's known you long term. They've known you for a long period of time, and they've seen you and go through every emotional or mood imaginable, and they can talk on that, and they can really add that credibility. They can really tell the hiring manager if this person's really a team player or if this person that's someone that we may not want to have on the team. So again, when choosing your personal references, again, as I said a few moments ago, I would not choose a family member. I just feel that as a hiring manager, I would feel better knowing that your reference was a friend versus family member. All right. So, what are some do's and don'ts about references? All right. So, one thing is if you want someone to be a reference, make sure you let them know. Never catch anyone off guard. And we've had that plenty of times. I've done that. I've called a reference for someone that we were interviewing here at VA, and that person had no idea that they were a reference. They almost didn't answer the phone because sometimes if you see we all do it. We see a number on our phone that we don't recognize, and the first thing we do is want to send them a voicemail. And then we'll listen to the voicemail before we call them back, or we'll wait for them to send us a text message or whatever. But make sure that your reference knows that they're on your resume or you have them in your list of references. Also, if you are applying for a job and you have, let's say you've been landed for an interview, make sure you tell your references, hey, I've applied for this job. I'm getting ready to have an interview. So please be looking out for a phone call from the VA saying that, hey, this person applied for their job, and let them know that they may be getting a call. Never get them caught off guard. All right. Make sure that this reference, if someone's a reference, go over things that they should know. Tell them about the position that you're applying for. Tell them why you're applying for the position. Tell them, things that they need to know about this position or this company that you're applying for, particularly the VA. Again, don't have them caught off guard with anything. Just make sure that they're up to speed on everything that's going on in your professional life, especially if it's a personal reference and not a professional reference. All right. Choose someone who can clearly articulate their thoughts. All right. So we all know everyone, no matter how smart you are, there are people out there who just have a hard time talking to others, have a hard time clearly conveying their thoughts. And it doesn't mean that they don't have any thoughts. It's just some people are just not public speakers. They're not good at voicing their thoughts. They maybe can write it down or maybe send you something in writing, but they can't verbally give their thoughts. And we know that when someone takes a phone call for references, you can't say, hey, well, let me hang up and let me send you my thoughts on this person that I'm referring, or that put me down as a reference. That person on that phone call has to clearly articulate their thoughts and feelings and things about you. So make sure that you pick someone. Don't just put a name down there because that's someone you know for a long time or someone you worked with. Make sure that person, again, can clearly articulate their thoughts about you. Because believe it or not, references can be the difference of getting a job and not getting a job. That's how important references are here. That's how important references are here at the VA. Again, we, as a hiring manager, yes, we will contact your references. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like I said, there's a 95% chance that your references are going to get contacted. So again, make sure that your references can clearly articulate what they have to say about you. Understand? All right. So the next thing is make sure that one of the biggest common mistakes that people make is instead of listing references, they put, I will provide a reference upon request. That is a big mistake because here at the VA, and some of you applied to jobs and you went back on USA Jobs to check out the status. And sometimes USA Jobs, they show you how many people applied for those positions. And if it's a generic position like HR or something, human resources, you have over 7,000 people that apply for those positions. And there's a lot of people. I remember my last HR Star announcement that we put out, I had 7,200 people apply for that position. And you can just imagine the plethora of applications that had to be read, resumes that had to be read, even the resumes that made it to the hiring manager. There's still maybe about 100 resumes that made it to the hiring manager. And they have to go through all those resumes to even pick to see who they're going to interview. So the harder you make the hiring manager work, the less of your chances of getting that position. So if on your resume it says you're only going to provide references if requested, I would say most of the time they'll just put your resume to the side because there's 99 other resumes that have references on it and they don't have to work hard to get those references. So again, if you have on your resume right now that you won't provide a reference unless requested, I would say go ahead and update your resume. Find 3 professional references and 1 or 2 personal references, and go ahead and put that in your resume. Because again, a lot of hiring managers, there's a lot of applications that come across the desk of hiring managers, and if you have to make their work harder, then they're not going to pick you. They're not going to interview you because, in all, we should all have some type of references listed on our resume. So again, if you're trying to get a position here at the VA, again, I would recommend yes. Go ahead and put those references on there. If you have that you will provide references upon request. Again, I would say don't go ahead and scratch it out. Go ahead and redo your reference section and add those references to your resume. All right. Um, Again, references are important. There's a lot of things that we can sit here and talk about references, but as I mentioned multiple times during this broadcast today, that 95% of the people who were selected for a position here at VA, their references were contacted. Um, so please make sure that you have 3 to 5 reliable references. Make sure their contact information is correct, because last thing you want to do is have the wrong information. Again, people get new numbers, new email addresses all the time. So make sure that their contact information is correct. Make sure that your references know that you have them on your reference list. Again, don't blindside anyone and catch them off guard. Make sure that whoever is on your reference list can clearly articulate that they can just clearly articulate what they need to say about you. Because again, I know references may seem minute. It may seem like a small part of the hiring process, but it's a small part with a big impact. Because if you get someone, if they can't, if the hiring manager can't, if they can't get in touch with any of your references, that could be the difference between getting the position and not. Um, if that reference says something bad about you, then obviously you're not going to get the position because that's a negative reference. If your reference can't clearly articulate their feelings about you, then that could be the difference between getting the position and not. So again, please make sure that you have 3 to 5 reliable references, and make sure that the hiring manager can easily contact those references, and make sure that those references can easily articulate what they need to about you. So if you have any questions about references, go ahead and put them in the comment section. If I don't get to them today, definitely we'll get through them throughout the week, and I'll be happy to answer any questions in that regard. So I think I have time for a couple of questions that were submitted in the comment section. So let me get to that. Just waiting for everything to load. So I have a question from, it looks like Laquanda. So Laquanda, first of all, thank you for submitting your question to us today. And it says, Laquanda says, including references, how many pages should a resume be? So again, I would say, I would say that there's no right or wrong answer for this, because many people will tell you different answers. I always stick anywhere between 3 to 6 pages. I would say, and that's depending on work experience. If you don't have 3 pages worth of work experience or resume content, then you don't have to stretch it out. But if you do have a lot of work experience, I say anywhere between 3 to 5, maybe 3 to 6 pages. Anything over 6 pages can be too long. And you want to make sure, what you want to do is make sure for your resume that you highlight the work experience, the schooling experience, the volunteering experience. Highlight the experience that's very important for the position that you're applying for. Make sure all of that is highlighted first, and then you can put that secondary experience just to show that you have a certain amount of work experience. I know some of us, we have worked odd jobs early on in our early adulthood years, and you want to put those on your resume because you want to show that you have 10, 20, 15 years of work experience, and that's fine. But for those jobs that you did early on that may not be necessarily important to the position that you're applying for at that moment, go ahead and put those, later in your resume, but make sure that the job experience, the schooling, anything that's important and pertinent to the position that you're applying for, make sure that it's highlighted first. But as far as number of pages, I normally go anywhere between 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 pages. So thank you again, Laquanda, and I hope I was able to answer your question. Let's see. I have another question. This one doesn't have a name. It says, first of all, whoever it is, if you hear your question, thank you for submitting this question. It says, my application was referred a week ago, but have not heard anything, any pointers. So I would say if your application was referred about a week ago, I said a week is kind of early. I would say give it another week or two, because again, we don't know how many number of applications were referred to the hiring manager. It can be anywhere between 10 and 200 applications. So you have to give the hiring manager and HR some time to go through all of those applications, because you got to realize if it's human resources, they're juggling so many different announcements at one time. If it's a hiring manager that has your application, then you have to realize hiring somebody for an open vacancy is not their main job. They still have their other meetings, their other duties, their other responsibilities that they have to do along with going through resumes. So again, I would say if a week has gone by, don't fret, because there's a lot of different factors, and those hiring managers may not have gone through, or that interview panel may have not gone through all of those applications yet. So I would say give it about another week or two. My biggest pointer is just be patient. Again, just be patient. Some people have been called for an interview within a week. Some people have been called for an interview within 2 weeks. And if you were like me with my first VA position, it was a few months after I applied for that job and got a referral notice that I even got the position, that I even got selected for an interview. I'm sorry. So again, just be patient. If 3 weeks have passed and you want to contact the point of contact that's listed on an announcement, or if there's no point of contact, contact the human resources office at that VA facility that you apply for, and see if you can get any answers about that position. All right. So let's see. I'm just looking, scrolling, see if there's any more questions. So Nancy, thank you, Nancy, for submitting this question. Nancy says, when using a resume builder, so USA Jobs, you can either download your own resume in PDF, or you can use the resume builder for USA Jobs. So Nancy says, when using the resume builder, there's no section to add references. I have them reflected in my USA Jobs profile. Is this still okay? Yes. When you if you have references in your USA Jobs profile, those references will get forwarded over to human resources and the hiring manager. So I would still say have the references in your resume. If you are submitting a resume through PDF, you're doing your own resume. But if you are some of the folks out there that use the USA Jobs resume builder, make sure that your USA Jobs profile has the references in there, because those references will get forwarded over to the hiring manager. So yes, Nancy, that's perfectly fine, because if you have those references there, they will get forwarded over to human resources and the hiring manager. So again, Nancy, thank you for that question. So that looks like that's all I have for today. I want to tell everyone, of course, thank you for watching. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. If it's your first time tuning in to Talk About It Tuesday, again, we're here every Tuesday at 12 noon Eastern time. But if you're one of our seasoned folks who watch us week after week after week, again, we appreciate you. I always see all the shares that you guys put out there. So we appreciate you sharing our broadcast. And I, along with Tim and Kendra, who you see periodically, we enjoy bringing this information out to you, because we truly want to see you guys get a position here at VA. We're looking for the most highly qualified candidates. And I know a lot of you that watch our that watch our broadcasts week after week are highly qualified individuals. So anything we can do to help you get a job, just let us know. So with that, thank you for watching. Obviously, if it's Tuesday, we're definitely going to talk about careers at VA. I thank you for watching, and until next Tuesday, have a great day and a great week.